After a wrap from the Supreme Court, Bar Council of India constitutes 5-member team to probe lawyers' misconduct, threatens cancellation of license of lawyers found guilty. A day after 2 BJP ministers resigned, BJP State Secretary who led the protest for the accused Vijay Sharma also told to quit his posts. After Kathua and Unnao, 11-year-old sexually assaulted and tortured to death in Surat. Her body bears 86 wounds. Cops suspect she was tortured for weeks. Stars backing the formation of the Kaveri board face protests in Bengaluru. Pro-Kannada groups shout slogans at a town hall. The final day at the Commonwealth Games brings more cheer to India. One more gold takes India's overall tally to 66, the third best ever by an Indian contingent. Saina Nehwal bags India's 26th and final gold medal at Gold Coast, gets the better of PV Sindhu, but Indian badminton is the winner at the Commonwealth Games. Good evening and thank you for watching Nation Now with me, Avni Raja. Today, once again, we pick up the issue that has plagued us, jolted the collective conscience of the nation and has caused a nationwide outrage. And we have no choice but to keep talking about it because nothing seems to be changing. Viewers, after the horrific rapes in both Unnao and Kathua, there's been a third equally heinous incident, this time in Surat, where the body of an 11-year-old girl was found with 86 viewers' injury marks on her body. And the doctors who conducted her post-mortem claim that she was tortured for nearly 8 days and raped repeatedly. Now, these circumstances are chillingly similar to the case from Kathua, where an 8-year-old girl was sedated, gang-raped and murdered. And lawyers who should be bringing her perpetrators to justice in fact obstructed proceedings and shielded her assailants and gave it a communal color. And as her family fights for justice, another 16-year-old screams against a system that shielded her rapist for nearly 1 year. And why? All because he was a powerful neta from a ruling party. India is angry and outraged, but mostly terrified. Our phone lines are open. Call us, share your views. Despite stronger laws and promises of making them even stronger, why is it that nothing is changing on ground? Yes, death penalty for rapists is needed, but is that really the only solution to the problem? Will the horrifying rape stop if that comes? Or is this issue much more deeply rooted?
Execute the capital punishment. That is the only way to deter rape.
बीच चौराहे पे फांसी दे ताकि एक एग्जाम्पल बने.
कौन से ऐसे लोग हैं हमारे ही समाज में जो दानव बनते जा रहे हैं?
Where humanity has gone from our country.
अब ये जो है मंजूर नहीं है देश को. कोई गुनहगार है तो उनको सजा दीजिए.
जब तक हमारी सरकार, हमारा सिस्टम, हम खुद नहीं इस पे सतर्क होंगे तब तक हम नहीं कुछ कर सकते.
All right, let's first tell you about the case from Surat, where the body of an unidentified 11-year-old girl has been found in a cricket ground in Surat with 86 injury marks on her body. The post-mortem report confirms that the girl was raped, and tortured for 8 days before she was strangled to death. The police has in fact announced a reward of 20,000 rupees for any information about her. Here's a report from Surat.
We are at the Pandesarai area in Surat. This is actually in the outskirts of Surat city, and on April 6th, a mutilated body was found from this particular locality. There is also a cricket ground over here, and a body of 11-year-old girl who had around 86 injuries on her body was found. A rape case has been filed, and in which the culprits are still absconding. The police is investigating the entire case. The police is also sharing details. The police also sharing pictures of the girl to several people in the city to get the right identity of the girl. With me is a local over here who had come here when the body was found. आपका नाम क्या और आप कभी आए थे 6 तारीख को यहाँ पे?
हम 6 तारीख को सर 11 बजे आए थे यहाँ पे देखने, तो यहाँ पुलिस वाले पूरे लगे थे, तो मैंने वहाँ पे देखा, वहाँ से फिर सबको भगा दे रहे थे, मैं वापस चला गया।
और ये कितने बजे हुआ था?
ये सर 7 बजे की बात है सर, 7 बजे मैंने नौकरी कर रहा था।
दिन में हुआ?
हाँ जी, दिन की बात।
और मतलब आपको यहाँ पे बॉडी आपने भी देखी थी? बड़ी भीड़ थी?
हाँ, भीड़ बहुत थी यहाँ पे।
Well, viewers, in the aftermath of all of this, we are seeing outrage across the entire nation. Protests have broken out everywhere, whether you talk about Delhi, whether you talk about Mumbai, whether you talk about Chennai. In fact, there is a protest happening at this point in Mumbai. Let's go across to my colleague Richa, who's joining us from the protest site. Richa, take us through what is the kind of protest that you're seeing at this point. What are people saying? If you can first show us the way people have come out in large numbers to actually share their outrage.
That's right, Avni. In fact, we are standing here at the Carter Rose here in Bandra, and let me show you in the visuals how people are holding all kinds of banners and placards, sharing their outrage as well as protest and solidarity for the 2 rapes in Jammu and Kashmir as well as Uttar Pradesh that have shook our nation at this point. And in fact, this particular protest here in Bandra is much bigger when it comes to the turnout, the amount of turnout. In fact, I have with me Bollywood actress Sameera Reddy, who is also here in support to show her solidarity as well as protesting against these rape incidences. Sameera, thank you so much for joining Mirror Now. If you can tell us, what message are we putting out to our country today through this protest here in Mumbai?
The message that we're putting out is that we are one in all of this. And my message, especially to be here with them, is to say that I'm not here to do the blame game. I'm here as a mother, as a new mother, horrified by these situations, which have been taking place for years. It's just that we've not been able to talk about it out of the fear of being ashamed, or the fact that social media wasn't that big. So the best part about this is the fact that so many people are turning out because of the media. And for that, I'm thankful. But what is going to be the ripple effect is going to be us as a society, me as a mother, making sure my son doesn't objectify a woman, and that starts at home. It starts at a very grassroots level. It starts with at every level of society in our education system to make sure it is put forward to all our boys. That they can't be treating or objectifying women. Why did they do this to this little girl? It's because somewhere maybe they were brought up to think it is okay. Why were they brought up to think that it's okay? That's where as a society we are failing. That's where we need to change. The government needs to not make this a communal issue, a religious issue, because it's disgusting and it's wrong. And they need to definitely make the law stricter. But are we here to play the blame game? No. I'm here to peacefully say that change needs to happen. It will take time, but we need to start today. And that's what we're doing, and it's amazing. The turnout's amazing.
Thank you, ma'am, for talking with us. In fact, let's go and try to get... If you can, it's live right now. If you can share what message are we putting forward? You give a very powerful speech at this point. This is Vishal Dadlani with us. Sir, if you can just send out what message are we putting out to the country from Mumbai?
The message is very clear. Enough is enough. India, Mumbai, the citizens of India are not going to take this anymore. There has been inaction, shameless inaction, disgusting inaction since the Nirbhaya murder and rape. We have, nothing has changed on the ground. The times need to change now. Our politicians have failed us repeatedly, and this time more than ever. In the case of Unnao and Kathua, where they have stepped in to protect and shield the rapists, which is unacceptable. This has to change now. These people have to be removed now. They have to be thrown out now. They have to be penalized now. The justice system, the judicial system has to be corrected now. We want fast-track courts now. This has to change now. And I promise you this, India, if you let your anger die down, if these protests become, कल हम लोग protest पे गए थे, ठीक है, हमारे this as well. We have to change the system. This is our country. This country does not belong to the politicians of India. Stop saying you're apolitical. Stand up. Become political. Become the citizens of India. Stand up. Take charge. This is your bloody country.
Thank you, sir, for talking with us. So, as you just heard, Avni, these were just a few celebrities who have, in fact, become a part of this massive protest march and rally that has gathered here in Carter Road's Bandra, showing their anger, in fact, against this particular horrific incident of rapes that have shook our nation in two separate parts. And clearly, it seems like it's not just the celebrities, but people from all walks of life who have turned up today here in Bandra, Mumbai, just to show their support, their anger, and just saying that enough is enough at this point. And this is what we can hear from every person who we are talking to at this point here in Mumbai.
Absolutely, Richa. In fact, Richa, we're going to keep coming back to you, but I'm going to let you go now. Speak to more people, get more voices, ask them what are the questions that they would like to ask the government today. What do they want from the government? What is it that we need to do to change this entire situation that we are in, where we're seeing such heinous crimes being committed time and time again? Let's also go across to Pramod, who's joining us from Chennai at this point, where also there have been a lot of protests that have been going on. Pramod, over to you. What is the mood like in Chennai? What are people saying? What do they want changed? What do they want from the government?
Well, it is definitely outrage turn after turn when we speak to the people, and for the past 3 days there was protests all across the state, everything candlelight march, and the very important question they're asking is that what happened to the lawmakers and what happened to the law enforcers? How many more this kind of drastic example do they need? Because even after this Kathua and Unnao, there are still more cases that are coming forward about like innocent children being harassed, being killed, being murdered, like unspoken things occurring to them, and like every other parent in the city or state of Tamil Nadu are completely outraged and are completely like questioning the actual Indian legal system, questioning like why is that like they need to protect their children from like such monsters? Why is that the law is not strong enough to control or to keep them in check? And why is that like every time this kind of news comes in, no other stern action is not seen from anybody in power? These are the questions that's being put forward because they actually have so much empathy towards the victims, but still they're afraid of their own children. They fear for their own children. They're afraid of like even taking them out. That's what we could see on the ground. Yesterday there was a massive protest in the city, day before yesterday as well, and in this week also much more are planned. They are only questioning the system. They claim that the system is at fault, and that's the reason. Sensitivity is not with the people of the country, and that's the reason such things are occurring.
All right, Pramod, well, that's the word coming in from both Chennai and from Mumbai. Let's bring our guests on board now at this point. We've got Vaibhav Agarwal of the BJP, Radhika Khera of the Congress, and Sujay Kantawala, senior lawyer. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining in today. A very difficult and unfortunate topic that we have to address. And unfortunately, we can't stop talking about this because nothing seems to be changing. Vaibhav Agarwal, I want to come to you first. We've seen another case emerge from Surat. This little girl, 11-year-old, had so many injuries on her body. She was raped, tortured, and strangulated to death is what we understand. How would you even like to react to this?
I mean, I so agree to you. I came to know about this incident only yesterday when the police took action in this and are trying to book the unknown persons now, and they're trying to locate the people who've done it, and there is a post-mortem forensic report that has come out, and so on and so forth. Now, you know what? In my opinion, and in my humble opinion, I think we need to look at it, rise above it, and we need to come together with our total consciousness and try and spread awareness about the entire thing, because this appears to be a whole society at war. You know, I'm going to get into a very big panel debate in the evening at about 8 o'clock on the same topic about criminalization of politics and the issues in India in terms of the rape and the crime against women. And I was doing just study on statistics, mind-blowing statistics. If I was to pick up the number, and Sanjoy Kantawala has done some work on it, you know, if you pick up the statistics only in last 10 years, which is 07 to 17, mind-blowing statistics. And this is not about the governments, this is not about politics, this is not about which state, which city. This is about the whole society at war. And I think, in my opinion, as government, I take humble responsibility as a politician as well, that you know, as a politician, I feel that all my seniors and perhaps my predecessor governments we've not come together on a single platform to do enough to spread awareness. And I think that's what the challenge is ahead of us. That's my opinion on this. This is extremely heart-rending.
Right. Sanjoy Kantawala, I want to bring you into this. What is your assessment in terms of the kind of statistics that we've seen over the several years, if you would like to add to what Vaibhav Agarwal was saying?
No, to add to what Vaibhav just said, and I welcome what Menka Gandhi has said, that she has said that there should be death penalty for the people who are convicted of raping minors. But she was suggesting 12. I think that should be 18, because under the POSCO, 18 is what you see as it's defined as a minor. But let me take it a little further. I think we as a nation need to take this very, very strongly. We can't say or rely on X political party or Y political party, because all these girls are our sisters and daughters. Now, if this is the kind of aggression that we are going to show to these rapists and these barbaric rascals, and we are not going to spare mercy, we need to see a couple of heads rolling here. We need to see that people who are going through that process, their trial should be fast-tracked, and if some people hang, then the nation is going to see, and the people who are going to commit this in future are going to see that the law is going to be unsparing towards them. We are not going to shield anyone. Anyone who is convicted after following due process is going to hang. And that should be the message to which we need to send. Surat police will now try and search for these people, but 20,000 rupees, no. It should be a 5 lakh rupee reward on anyone who gives information. After that, the charge sheet should be filed immediately after conducting the examination, and the trial should be conducted in a timeline. 3 months, the trial should be over by appointing ace prosecutors. I am willing to forego my practice and appear free of charge in such cases as a prosecutor, because I don't want to see these rapists walking on our streets again. This is what I'm saying before the entire nation today.
All right, Vaibhav Agarwal, before I come back to you, and also before I come to Radhika for opening statements, one sec, I'm going to go across to our correspondent Arunil, who is with us at this point from Surat. Arunil, take us through what you're picking up as far as this case is concerned. At this point, the girl is still unidentified. They still haven't found out who she is.
Yes, there has been widespread protest against the rape cases that happened in Kathua and Unnao. However, this case is also horrifying. If we see, this 12-year-old girl's body was found on April 6th, with as many as 86 injury marks on her body. I spoke to the CP also today. I pertinently asked him, like, why no action has been taken? Why aren't there any leads with the police till now? I even asked him that after the coverage that were reported for for Kathua and Unnao, this particular case has been taken up. He said no, the police has been doing their investigation. However, when I went on the field and I spoke to the localites over there, remember the police has been questioning the localites since the last 2 days. That's what the localites also told us, that since the last 2 days the police has swung into action and they have been putting up posters everywhere in the entire city. The Commissioner of Police also floated a few theories saying that this particular place, this particular secluded place which was situated near a cricket ground, is in the outskirts of the city and it is near the highway. So there is a possibility that somebody from outside Gujarat or somebody from outside Surat must have killed this girl and dumped the body over here. He also said that within these 8 days, nobody has come ahead to claim the body. So there is a possibility that some of the family members are involved. So the police is only floating different theories. They have nothing concrete in hand. They have been saying that the identification of the girl is extremely important to solve the case, which is right, but the Surat police has not at all succeeded in doing so. They will be depending on the FSL report, which will take another week to come out. They are yet to know whether the girl was given sedatives or no. However, what we get to know is like the girl was brutally sexually assaulted. She around 86 injury marks were there on her body, which also included her private parts. So this is a gruesome and a horrifying case that comes from Surat after what happened in Kathua and Unnao. Back to you.
Right. Arunil, any response yet from the state government? Any sort of fast tracking or formation of special teams for investigating this case at this point?
Yes, what we get to know is a 5-member team of the Surat crime branch have been investigating the case. They have been putting up posters in the entire city. Well, that's what the Commissioner of Police also told us, that around 3,000 posters have been put up in the city. I personally went and saw those posters as well. They have also visited around 2,000 to 3,000 houses in the vicinity of that particular area. I went to the houses and they said that the police have been inquiring about this case, but that all these things have been happening in the last 2 to 3 days. Remember, there has been a massive reportage about the rape cases that happened in Kathua and Unnao, and only after that the Surat police have swung into action. This was confirmed by a lot of localites. This has been confirmed by the local media here as well. And this is the question that we will be asking, that why wasn't this case reported earlier? Why didn't the police take any action from the start itself? Back to you.
All right. Thanks, Arunil. That is indeed a very crucial question that we will also take up here. Is it that why is it always that every time, only after the case becomes big, it comes to our national media's attention? Is it that we see traction that builds up around solving the case and finding the culprits? All right. Before I open up this debate, I'm going to go across to Radhika Khera for her opening remarks. Radhika Khera, go ahead.
Avni, what is very sad is that every other day we are sitting on some channel or the other debating on the situation of crime against women. The numbers have gone up. There's a rape. We go to bed reading news of a rape. We wake up to a news of a rape. And why is this happening? You know, for the past 5-6 days, there has been a massive outrage because of Unnao and Kathua. But still, you had 2 rapes in UP. You had this rape in Gujarat. You have a rape in Jharkhand. What is the reason behind it? And the reason behind it is very simple and very clear. That the culprits know that they can get away with it. They know that they will have someone to protect them and there will be no action taken against them. It took 10 months in the case of Unnao and over 3 months in the case of Kathua for the government to wake up from its deep slumber. Until the time the government does not take strict action, does not, you know, it's very easy to say we will bring these changes in law, this change will be bought, that will be bought. And now most of the leaders are not even commenting. The women leaders who actually went out on the roads earlier, you know, they used to be out on the roads screaming and sending bangles and whatnot. I'm not even saying a word. Nothing is actually making them say a word on this. How do they get the sleep? How do they sleep at night? Is, you know, it's really appalling what is happening. And it's very easy for the BJP spokesperson to come and say, oh, the numbers are this and I'm going on a debate. What is the government actually doing about it? it is absolutely clear that all culprits in every case, every day you hear one, rape, another brutal rape here, brutal rape there, and there has to be a reason behind, because, like I said, the culprits
Sujoy, do you?
are sure that
after
they will be
Radhika ji
protected.
finishes, will
Either
you
the
recommend me to answer
are
this
protected
politically,
by the government,
should I
or
keep
they are
my
part
own
of the
stand?
government. They are their own
I don't think we should
MLAs.
get politics into
Please let
this.
me
This is
complete.
a-
I did not
this is a
interrupt when
shame,
you spoke.
national
Let me
shame.
complete.
We
Let
all
me
as Indians
complete.
should unite over
Let
here.
me
Why are we
complete.
getting
This
politics
is
into
shameful,
this?
Radhika ji.
The point is,
what you are doing
no,
is
I'm sorry, till
I'm
the time
ashamed
the
of
government
it.
does not
I'm
wake
appalled,
up,
and this
the
is
CBI
shameful.
has
Absolutely.
only become a case
What
bureau
you're
of
doing is
investigation.
politicizing
The government
an issue
has
like
actually
rape.
destroyed all
All right,
I
all
don't
right.
want to
Radhika
ever
Khera,
get
I'm
into a
going to
situation
step
like
in
this.
here.
And may God bless you.
Your point has been
You don't
taken.
have
You've
to do
made
that.
your opening remarks. Let's open up this debate, and I would request and urge all our panelists to not politicize this issue. This is not about BJP. It is not about Congress.
Absolutely.
Gang rapes and rapes have been happening, whether it's the BJP or the Congress or any other party. So let's not get into this government or that government. It's been happening. So it's all the parties are on an equal footing there. So it's not about politicizing the issue. Sujoy, I want to come to you because I have a very important question.
Yeah.
We are talking about death penalty. Yes,
Yeah.
it is needed. Death penalty for rapists, for child rapists, whatever the case may be. Menka Gandhi has spoken about changing the POCSO Act to include death penalty for those who have raped minors. There have been some states who have gone ahead and given the go-ahead for that kind of a proposal as well. But my question is this. Is the death penalty, is implementing something like that going to actually change the number of gang rapes and these kind of heinous crimes that we're seeing against women and children? Because let's not forget, we do have death penalty in this country in certain cases. There is no fear of, the problem is that the road leading to death penalty is also equally, if not more important. The investigation, the speedy judicial process, all of this is just as important. And are we turning our attention away from those points by talking so much about death penalty?
See, what happened, the jurisprudence that has developed is rarest of rare cases.
Yes.
Now, the Supreme Court has been convicting or acquitting people on this mantra, rarest of rare. So, if you want to get out of this rarest and rare, and if you want to fix the strict liability of death penalty and the definition of minor 18, then you will bring every case where a girl has been assaulted and killed and raped, all that under the death penalty. So one, you have the final punishment, but the process to that final punishment needs to be a fast track.
Yes.
You need to, first of all, in every town, and I'm suggesting this if some people are hearing me on the political side, my friend Agarwal and the other panelists, we should have again, now we should again create these mohalla committees which used to always be there. Every town and city needs to be covered by CCTV. Yeah. If you have this police public interaction mohalla committees, you'll have an exchange of information that will be better. Plus, every police station should have a woman cell which is sensitive, which is forensically equipped to handle these kind of cases. Look, if the perception amongst these rascals is this, that agar hum aisa kuch karenge to pakade jayenge, that fear of God has to be instilled in their spines. Then you will see that as a great deterrent. That is what my suggestion is as far as the deterrent part is concerned. But as far as the conviction is concerned, there should be a timeline, that the charge sheet should be filed. There should be dedicated, sensitive prosecutors who should be equipped, and you should be intelligent enough, even forensically. They should have that kind of a knowledge and tools at their disposal to ensure conviction, because we don't want even innocent people to get involved, because it's worse to have an innocent person seeing him hanged. So therefore, we should ensure that the people who are actually responsible for committing this gruesome, heinous act need to be hanged fast-tracked.
Yes.
So therefore, this whole process is like one particular schedule. The end result will be the conviction, that is death penalty, and the rarest of rare category will apply to these cases where the law can be amended.
Right. So essentially what you're saying is that the road to that, to the death penalty needs to be also speeded up and needs to become stronger. Vaibhav Agarwal?
Yeah, so that is why I like Mr. Kantawala. My learned counsel very, very specifically pointed out, and that shows his experience on the matter, Now, he's a legal luminary. Now, and I would add on to what he's saying, you know, so when in 2014, the POCSO Act already had existed, and in 2014, the NDA government, and Sujoy would know that, Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Bill of 2015, in which in Section 15, we've clearly tried to bring the age group under the POCSO Act for the persons committing the crime to 16. So there is a special treatment for for criminals who are trying to commit such a heinous act, which is 16 and above. So we are already trying to accommodate the 2 years further on in this, because we've seen a trend that a lot of these activities are happening, crime against women, which include harassment, sexual harassment, eve teasing, and there's a lot of stuff. So there is one part is this. So I would, you know, through your show, saying yes with what Mr. Kantawala states, is urge to our judiciary that I think they should be able to define that rarest of rare view and lower the standards a little on that, so that more cases can be accommodated in that rarest of rare gamut, and more punishments can be there.
The
because
POSCO Act itself should be amended to bring in death penalty for this. And I'll tell you something.
Right. So,
it's not that our sisters and daughters are suffering this on the road or in the forest. They are also experiencing sexual assault at home also.
Yes.
Look, the many times it happens that a minor girl is victimized by her own relatives in the house. So therefore, what we need is sensitization as far as the police auntie is concerned, where she can go and approach that lady who is going to be sensitive to her, or maybe a school teacher, that kind of friend, because sometimes there could be inhibitions towards her own parents. So you need to bring about that awareness.
Right. All right. Radhika, I'm going to come to you. You wanted to come in.
Right.
Go ahead.
So I'll add on to that. One moment. May I finish? May I finish,
You know,
please?
I'm really glad that Vaibhavji knows his numbers well and the reasons and everything. But you know, all that we're doing here, that this law should be bought, that should be done. The fact is that the law and order situation has actually failed in the country, and the government of the day is responsible for it. Unless and until the victim does not feel safe enough to go to a police station and report a crime and know that she will get
Radhika ji,
justice,
do you want me to
nothing
politicize
is
the
going to be
issue?
solved.
Do you want me to give you a reply in the same politics that you're trying to play
let
on
me
the channel
complete.
here?
You spoke, I kept quiet. Let me complete. Learn to listen to people. Learn to
do you
listen.
want
This
me to
is the problem
politicize
with
it?
the government.
Because don't come, because then I would say don't come. I would like to bring out Uttarakhand numbers and past 3 years, and I would like to bring in what happened in West Bengal. There were other rapes in Odisha. There are rapes in Andhra
Pradesh. Let Radhika finish what she's saying. I'm then going to... Vaibhav Agarwal, if I can please request this not to become a screaming match. We don't do that on Mirror Now. Please, this is not a channel where we scream at each other. Vaibhav Agarwal, let her finish. You can rebut once she's done talking. 1 minute. Radhika, go ahead, make your point.
This is the attitude of the government, because...
Radhika, go ahead with your point. Please go ahead with your point. Please go ahead to make your point.
The Nirbhaya Fund, it has not been used by the government.
Okay.
This is such a waste
of time.
of
I'm making my point. Whether it is the Nirbhaya Fund, that has not been used. Whether it is the victims, like I said, they are harassed, their family is harassed, they lose members of their family, they are not allowed to go and even complain. Then religion is brought into it, their caste is brought into it. So somewhere you have to stop that. Unless and until the criminal knows that yes, they will not be protected, there will not be pressure from the government to save them, nothing is going to stop. We can bring n number of acts. Even in the case of Unnao, the court had to actually come and intervene and ask the government to get the MLA arrested. You had the police addressing him as Mananiya. The chief minister took 10 months to take action against his own. It took him 10 months to find out what actually the truth was.
All right. I'm going to go across. I'm going to go across. We've got a caller, Sudeepa, calling us from Kolkata. Hi, Sudeepa. Thank you for calling us. Go ahead. What would you like to say? Yes, Sudeepa, go ahead.
My question is to the authorities. Yes. I really don't have any connection to politics or any kind of politicians. My question is, after something happens, we take the steps. The government, everybody tells us that there will be justice. But what about preventing it? Last night I went through an incident. I will not bring it, I'll not tell it what happened. If you want me to, I'll surely say, but I tried to connect 1091, that is the helpline number.
Okay.
And I called them for 5 times. For 5 times I called them. Nobody was there to receive the call. My situation was not that horrific. I was in a bad situation. I asked for advice. I was calling for just for advice.
Sudeepa, this happened in Kolkata?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So for my thing is, what if somebody is in very big problem and calling 1091 for help, and nobody is there to receive the call, and our authorities are just saying we will not say anything, we'll take some actions. Where are the actions? Did you ask your authorities who are concerned for this that there are problems? Are we taking care of it? Nobody is taking care of it. All we see is people fighting over politics, religion, all those things. But I'm an 18-year-old. I didn't vote for the government. I didn't vote for anybody. I don't even have a voter identity card. But my elders voted for you people. They trusted you. What are you doing for us? What are you doing for them? What are you doing for my parents? They are scared. They're saying, "Are bari se police has been." So my parents are Bengali. They're saying, "What if police comes? Why are you calling to Mirror now?" They're concerned. They're scared. They're scared of the authorities. They're not scared of the criminals. They're scared of authorities right now. I am not exaggerating. I really have my mother saying me, "What if the authorities harass us?"
All right, Sudeepa, thank you so much for calling us. Extremely unfortunate that you had to go through what you had to go through and you did not receive any kind of help. I'm glad you were able to call in to us and at least voice your concerns and your fears. And I think, you know, for our panelists, this is really the crux of the problem. I think Sudeepa represents so many of us women who have faced these kind of issues. We haven't received help, or we have just been so scared to even voice out what has happened to us. And that is where this whole thing starts from. And that is what even Sujoy was just mentioning about having CCTV cameras, that is the root of the problem, and that is where it all needs to start. Vaibhav Agarwal, you wanted to respond to Radhika and also to this.
No, I don't think I would respond to my colleague from Congress, because, you know, I don't want to stoop down to a political arena's debate where this topic does not entertain political debate on. This topic is humane debate. This topic is about social debate. This topic, and by the virtue of me representing the party who is in power right now across 90% of the country today, I have to speak on it, but I don't want to respond to Radhika ji. So I would respond to Sujoy Katawala, you know, and this is a technical issue, and Sujoy will understand that there are those laws which are in the IPC, and then there are those laws which are at the state level, which are SLL, which is special local laws. You know, so always understand that it is the conviction rate always takes a dip, and the rate differs between state and state because there is no one policy across for all this. So perhaps the center government needs to take a view of this, which we are understanding on this, and that is why Menka ji came and made a statement on this. She was not sharing the details, but perhaps the center government wants to take a view on this, that, you know, there could be a single India, single policy on this, instead of the special local laws existing, you know, versus Quadi IPCs. So we are of this view that, yes, the laws against this need to be created in such a deterrent manner that the people trying to do something like this. So, for example, I was on a debate with Javed Jafri last night, and Javed Jafri, I think, made a very, very good point, and I will not steal what point he made. I will proudly give the onus to him, my respect to him. And he pointed out very clearly that when we go out on the street, and it's logical, we wear our helmet, or we have our number plate, our papers in the car because we fear a fine. You know, perhaps there is a deterrent. So perhaps in a heinous crime like this, and this has about 10, 12 categories, which include sexual harassment, eve teasing, rape, attempt to rape, sections ranging from 143 to 366, and so on and so forth. You know, I think there's absolutely, I totally buy in everyone's viewpoint that there should be a deterrent. Now, if that deterrent has to be from the sternest of stern action, which should stand shoulder to shoulder to the judicial concept of rarest of rare, then, you know, I'm all for it. And this absolutely I would request, by using your channel, Avni, your program, that whoever is watching, and I feel a lot of youngsters watch your program, especially on a Sunday evening, I would request them to rise above the criticism that government is facing right now, to help the government spread an awareness on this topic, that look, there are laws, for example, issues like what your caller just brought out, that 1091 was unanswered. It is not our responsibility. TMC is the ruling party in West Bengal. It is West Bengal. It's a state subject. But the blame is given to us because by the virtue of Modi ji's presence and image in the country today. So, we have to see it in a holistic manner. We cannot see it in a silo. We cannot see it in Kathua, we cannot see it in Unnao, we cannot see it in Surat, we cannot see it in X place. We have to see the country as whole. So whenever we look at data, whenever we look at action items, whenever we look at this, I think there should be a council, perhaps just like the GST council, that can be made. Or like a crime against women council or a crime council or something like that. I would urge Rajnath ji to look into this, and all state representatives should be there and see what we can try to do, for bringing a streamlined policy. So if you're sitting in Mumbai, dial 1091. Perhaps 1091 should be answered. Right. There shouldn't be one individual responsible for it. That's the idea. That's my view.
We've got a caller as well, but I'm going to first go across to my colleague Richa, who's with us. Richa, over to you.
That's right, Avni, and with me is RJ Malishka, and she has always raised her voice for the important issues. Malishka, thank you so much for talking with Mirror Now. If you can just tell us, what message are we putting out to the rest of the country here from Mumbai? We are seeing huge turnout here at Bandra's Carter Road. Yes. So please tell us, what are your sentiments at?
I'm very glad. I want to thank Mumbai and the people that have been involved in taking up this initiative, because we've always seen that, if somebody takes an initiative to get out there, Mumbai does come together. I want to point out this girl who caught my eye the most, and I think what she's saying is what every woman is perhaps entitled to say at this point. I've always said we're 50% of the population, roughly, if you let us live. We are the ones who bring life into the world, and today, for us to be saying stuff like this, like a child is telling you, I'm Nirbhaya and I'm Asifa, and asking you for justice at such a time, I wish we would put our whataboutery aside. I wish we would put our Twitter wars aside. I wish we would put aside, I'm this religion or I'm that community, I'm a follower of this party or that, and come together to realize that something really needs to be done. Even as we're out here talking about Asifa, go through your newsfeed and see who's the next child that got dumped in a toilet, or the next child that got raped, or the next woman that was gang raped, or, it is itni sharamnak, like we say. It is such a horrible thing to keep coming back, and then for people to ask, to raise questions about what this will do. Well, something or the other, and that's all the hope I have. That's the hope I have for me and for her.
Do you have a question for our panelists today? We have from all the parties, we have all the social activists on our panel today. If you have one question for them.
Yes, I would like to know exactly what I just said, that when will we stop? When will we stop, fanning the whataboutery? When will we actually, on a human level, do something? Put all of this aside and do something at a human level where the woman in this country, this child tomorrow, me, can stand up and say, yes, they're standing up for us. Yes, I'm not worried to walk out in the dark. I'm not worried to just exist. I'm not worried to be a woman or give birth to a daughter in this country. When will a law that makes me feel completely safe being a woman, not just in Mumbai, but any part of my country, come about?
Thank you, Malishka. Thank you for talking with us. So back to you, Avni, and this is what Malishka is telling us at this point, and this is the question that she wants to ask Vaibhav Agrawal.
All right, thanks, Richa. Yes, Vaibhav, Malishka had a direct question for you, so go ahead.
Yeah, I think she had a very valid point, and we should, as I've been trying to emphasize on it, and I'm not shirking away from taking my administrative responsibility on the subject, but I'm definitely seeking support from the citizens of India today to come out in numbers, come out and support us on social media. The Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao program was actually intended to spread awareness about all this, was intended. So under the program, we have one-stop centers, We have the village facilitation center that has been established, where it's only for women who do not have access to resources, only for women who need protection. We have those skill development centers open. You know, there is so much happening under this government, and I feel that perhaps there is a little lack of awareness at my end that I'm not able to share.
Vaibhav Agarwal, just to point out that one-stop centers that you're talking about. In fact, just recently, one of our reporters went and did a ground check on those one-stop centers, and many of those hospitals didn't even know what they are. Some of them, it was a door that was locked. So, you know, there are these issues. Nobody knew about those one-stop centers. So we have these things. There are these things that have been proposed, that have been implemented.
I'm not denying
that. There's several of them that are not working. And Sujay Kandawal, let me come to you. You know, the point is that whether it's the Unnao case, whether it is several other instances, there are issues where people are scared to go into a police station, where there are cases where the police do not believe what the victim is saying. And it stems from there, something as basic as believing a victim when she walks in and says, I have been raped. What you're put through to actually get a case registered. That itself can completely humiliate you and completely sort of, you know, make you lose faith in the system itself.
See, your channel has been in the forefront of crimes against women, and I have come on several debates. All along I have been saying one thing, that we should have more women police. We should recruit more women police. We should in every police station have a separate desk manned by women mainly to look into this. How you have the Vishaka guidelines? We went to Nirbhaya. After Vishaka, sexual harassment at workplace was in place. We had Nirbhaya, but we have not learned anything from that. Now one very healthy thing that I'm seeing is that everywhere in our cities, good-meaning citizens, well-meaning citizens are coming out in thousands and are having peaceful, dignified marches. This is how the country is supporting the government. We are all one as a nation, and having a peaceful march in a dignified manner is a fundamental right. And I urge every citizen in every town of this country, come out and show your solidarity on this issue. And that will show to the government that how serious now we are as a nation. We are not divided. On this one issue, we are one, and we will always be one. Therefore, the march that is taking place today at Mumbai, at Bandra, I am sure that there are going to be more marches, peaceful marches in many more cities in the coming days. And therefore, there will be complete sensitization in the police force also, because the police, Justice Krishna Iyer many years back wrote a phrase, who will police the police?
Yes.
So if you are, as the caller from Kolkata said, that we are scared to approach the police authorities. Now, if this is the problem, that you are scared to approach law enforcement, then that's a very sad thing for us. That's a very sad thing. So our collective consciousness should be evoked and invoked. And therefore these marches, and I am once again suggesting, we used to have police public committees, mohalla committees. That was a very good interface between the police and public, exchange of information on various other issues. That again should be invoked. The public should trust the policeman as a friend, as a person who he can turn to in the moment of distress.
Right. All right, we're running out of time. Radhika, you wanted to come in. Go ahead.
Yeah, since Vaibhav ji, you're very good with your numbers, and like you said, you're absolutely aware that over 90% of the states you're in power. Are you aware of the fact that the crimes against women have been at maximum? Uttar Pradesh tops, then you have Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Haryana and Rajasthan. You know, if you go out and drive at night
in
Delhi, I come from Delhi. If you go and drive in Delhi, there is not one female cop. Oh, see, you know, this is the attitude of the government, because of which there will be nothing that is going to be done in the name of women protection.
Why don't you call up Aam Aadmi Party, who's your alliance partner, and get this done?
Excuse me, sir. I think you are not aware that the police in Delhi comes under the Home Ministry.
It's a very, very serious issue.
Get your facts properly corrected. The police in Delhi does not come under Aam Aadmi Party.
Radhika Khera, I would request you not to get into.
If this is the way the BJP spokesperson.
Radhika, I would request you not to get into this, please. I'm going to have to cut you off. I'm going to go across to Nisar Ahmed, who's calling us from Delhi. Nisar, go ahead. What would you like to say?
Hi. I would make a strong suggestion to you that don't invite any political party when you have a sensitive. Hello.
Yes, Nisar Ahmed, go ahead.
Hello. When we have a sensitive debate. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah. When you have a sensitive topic, something of this nature, please do not invite any political parties for this debate because they are shameless, they are thick-skinned, they don't have any sensitivity towards these issues. See how they are bickering on the issues. They are talking AAP, they are talking Congress, they are talking BJP. We don't want to listen to this stupidity. We want action. See, these things have been long ago and people are waiting unless until the media haven't highlighted, they would have not listened to this horrific crime which have happened. Now it has come on the media limelight. So these people have come and they are now making lips of these services. For example, when a political party makes a comment against another political party, they file a defamation suit. They show their sensitivity, they show their pain, they show that they are so much hurt because they file a defamation case. This is a horrific crime which has happened with an 8-year-old girl. And they don't show sensitivity. How nonsense is it? How nonsense is it? It's unbelievable.
All right. Nisar Ahmed, thank you so much for calling us. Your outrage is completely taken. And I think that anger is something that is reflecting across India today. And that is the real point. And that anger is not going to die down. I can assure you on Mirror Now, we will keep talking about this again and again. And unfortunately, Nisar Ahmed, we have to call the politicians because they are the ones who can actually go and implement this change and make the change. We have to keep asking them, keep telling them, and keep requesting them to make those changes. And this is a topic that we will continue to debate. Thank you all our panelists very much for joining us today on the show. Thanks for watching.